Hey guys, wow. So last night was the series finale of Game of Thrones and holy crap. Okay, so we got a lot to talk about, so let's just get into it, shall we? Before this episode premiered, I saw on Twitter and various other platforms like people complaining about the season and the last episode, and yes, I said it in my last review that yes, I was disappointed by Cersei's death. The way that I wanted to go was I really wanted Arya to kill Jaime, take his face, and kill Cersei. That would have just been amazing. So yeah, but for me, that was the only disappointing aspect of the episode. Like, I mean, yes, the writing for this season hasn't been great. I'm gonna agree with most fans out there that the writing wasn't amazing. But I think I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I'm gonna talk about this season and episode on both sides of the spectrum, I should say. I know that a lot of people weren't happy with Dany going mad in the 5th episode of this season. I just wasn't super disappointed by it. I didn't mind it. I'm probably in the minority. Everybody seemed to hate that. I was way more disappointed with Cersei's death. I just thought that it should have been better. But with this episode, we started with Tyrion walking through King's Landing and seeing all the ruins and the dead people, and obviously he's like, he's probably thinking like this is awful. And then we saw Davos. Oh, sorry, and my voice probably sounds weird. I woke up yesterday, Game of Thrones finale day, with a sore throat, and I wasn't feeling great yesterday. I was actually going to film my finale predictions yesterday, but I didn't feel good enough, so. But I might put that in here just because, like, yes, we've all seen it, or at least most of us have at least. But I might still talk about that. But yeah, you know, and then we see Davos and Jon walking behind Tyrion. I think they're all just like in shock, because they can't fathom why Dany would do that. Why would she go crazy? Why would she just do senseless shit like that? It was crazy. It was crazy. And then Tyrion decides to walk off. We know he's going to find Cersei and Jaime. He finds Cersei and Jaime, like I said last week, under the depths or bowels of King's Landing. I mean, I never thought I would cry for Cersei Lannister or Jaime Lannister. But I got really sad and almost like cried about that. Like, that was so sad. But honestly, I think mostly I felt sad about it because of the fact that I love Tyrion. He's one of my favorite characters on the show by far. I love him to death. And also, like he said in the previous episode when he was talking to Jaime, I can relate to, you know, I love Tyrion because he's short. And, you know, I have a lot of people in my life that have underestimated me because of my size. And I think people that are in my life currently are like Jaime. In that moment, like, I really felt sad and it was just heartbreaking. But honestly, seeing Tyrion cry is heartbreaking in my opinion. So that's just me. And then we get to see Dany and all of her craziness. Oh, before we saw Dany though, we saw Grey Worm ready to execute some of the King's Landing soldiers, and Jon tries to stop him. Then Grey Worm just slashes the one guy's throat, and Jon decides to go talk to Dany about this whole thing. What I can only describe as a Star Wars like battle cry speech, whatever you want to call it. We see Dany walking forward, and we see Drogon's wings like coming out behind her like she's a freaking dragon herself. And that was probably one of the most iconic moments. Like, oh my god, it was so cool and badass. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I was like, whoa. And then we saw Tyrion, and oh my god, I was holding my glass of wine because I have this bottle of wine that has like a dragon on it. It's not Game of Thrones wine, but I kind of call it my my dragon Game of Thrones wine, and I was holding my cup like this, and I was shaking. I was so scared because he was like walking behind Daenerys closer and closer and closer, and I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, if you kill Dany, you're gonna die. And I was so scared. Holy mother of pearl. And he stood next to her at her right side, and you know, they had a conversation about, like, you know, how he let Jaime go, that's treason, all that kind of stuff. He takes his pin off of him and he throws it. There, I got it. And at that moment I was like, holy mother of pearl, she's going to kill you right now. And I was like, no, no. But then she said, take him, in Valyrian. I think, no, Dothraki? Probably Dothraki. And he was taken away by guards. And then we saw Daenerys walk back towards her sanctuary. Then we saw Arya up the stairs, sneaking her way through, and basically talk to Jon. And of course, Jon is in this mentality where he still loves Dany, and he's not, you know, he's just, oh my god. Like the first half hour of this episode, he was so naive, and he was just proving my point that I was like, no, Jon should not be king of Westeros. He would not be a good king in my opinion. And so Arya was like, I came here to kill Cersei, but your queen already did that. And then Jon went to Tyrion's side, and they had this conversation about Daenerys and how Daenerys is just, she's beyond saving, you know, she's like, you know. And of course Jon is like so naive, and she's my queen and I love her, and Tyrion's like, she's crazy. She's crazy. No, I mean, Tyrion didn't say that. I'm just, you know, I don't remember everything that Tyrion said, obviously. At the end of this conversation, Jon leaves, and I mean, I was like, please don't kill Tyrion. Please don't kill Tyrion. Please don't kill Tyrion. And Jon leaves, and we're left thinking, well, we're screwed. He's not gonna kill Dany. He's not. And so we see Dany walking towards the throne, the Iron Throne, which is still intact, which me and my brother actually discussed that. Like, we thought, like, is this gonna be intact? Like, is it gonna be are they gonna have to, like, you know, is it upside down? Like, are they gonna put it right side up or something? It was kind of funny, our conversation about that. But yeah, she was walking towards the throne in a very, like, interesting, like, sort of fashion. And we see her almost sit on it, but then we see Jon come up, and in this scene, Dany came off so much like a tyrant, so much like Hitler almost, that I was like, oh my god. I was like, oh my god. And I was like, no, like, he's not gonna do anything. I was thinking to myself, like, this isn't gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Like, whatever. And they kiss, and you can see that, like, he's fighting every instinct he has in himself to, like, you know, not kiss her, and, like, he's just obviously in torment, and he doesn't know what to do, and, you know, he, you know, basically. And so we're just left thinking, like, and then there was, like, and then after they kissed, there's, like, a moment where we're like, okay, what's gonna happen next? And then we hear, ah! I don't know how to simulate a sword noise. But yeah. And she looks down, and Jon lays her down on the ground, and we see blood coming out of her mouth, and I was like, did that just happen? Because I did not think that he had the balls to do that in any way. And I was like, oh my god, holy shit, holy shit. And then as he's weeping over her body, we hear Drogon getting closer and closer and closer, and he's like so close, and he's so scary. And oh my god, for like a large part of this next part, I was like, oh my god, he's going to burn Jon alive. Jon, bye bye. And surprisingly, like, he gets close to Jon, but then he burns down the Iron Throne, and I was like, is this really happening? Like, I was just like, are you kidding me? Like, oh my god. I was like, oh my god. Like, huh? Huh? I haven't even gotten to the craziest part of this episode though, honestly. And so after that happens, John is taken into, you know, custody, basically, whatever, for that. And Grey Worm has Tyrion in chains. And then Grey Worm brings him to this, like, council meeting of sorts with all these people. Arya, Gendry, Sansa, Bran, Sam is there. Some other people that I don't really know their names. Just, like, Yara's there. Like, a bunch of people. And Tyrion wants to talk, and Grey Worm is like, don't speak. They're just trying to figure out what to do next, obviously. Somehow, it goes from Tyrion being in chains to Tyrion having this long speech about what he thinks should happen next and who he thinks should be in charge next. Or the king, the new king, I should say. Or queen. And they're all listening to him, surprisingly, and Grey Worm is like just standing there, and I was just like, what's happening? What's happening? And Sam is like, well, we should all, like, you know, vote on this, like, as everyone should vote, not just us. And everybody laughs at him, of course, and it's like, democracy isn't the craziest thing in the world, people. I mean, maybe it is, I don't know. I loved Arya. Arya looked at Sam and was like, you know, that kind of like stink guy, but not really stink guy. It was kind of funny. This one guy, he like stood up and was talking. I don't remember his name. And then Sansa was like, sit down. And she was like, basically. It was like, that was funny. And then suddenly Tyrion starts talking about how Bran, you know, knows our history. And, you know, that, and then he's like, you know, what do people admire or fear, or I don't know what, I'm not sure what he says, but something like that. Stories. He's like, stories are the key. And Bran is chock full of them. And out of nowhere, literally, he makes Bran, well, they all do, but they all make Bran the king of Westeros. And I'm like, I was literally like, what is going on? What is happening? What is happening? I was like, cause honest to effing God, if I would have predicted, my predictions were Jon, Sansa, or Tyrion on the Iron Throne. Bran wasn't even in my radar. He wasn't even, like, legitimately, never came into my mind that Bran could become the king of Westeros. Like, oh my god, like that was like the farthest thing from my mind. Like, he probably would have been like I don't even know if he would have been in the top 20. Like, I was just like, what is happening? And suddenly, and somehow it happens, and I'm just like, what is happening? And then Bran decides to make Tyrion his hand, and Tyrion's like, no bro, no bro. And he's like, pick anyone else, don't pick me, I am not a good choice. And Bran is like, he's already made up his mind, it's happening. And so after all that happens, which is just like, they choose to send Jon back to the north, to the wall. Arya basically says that she's going to go on her own expedition, basically, and she's going to go west of Westeros, is what she says. Which, oh my god, if they did a freaking show of her going west of Westeros, I would totally watch that shit out of that. So, get on it, HBO, get on it. And then Sansa becomes the queen of the North. And I feel like a lot of people might have an issue with that, you know, with her seceding Westeros and being her own place, and the fact that Bran was fine with it. I mean, I don't really understand why people have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with it personally. I mean, that's what's, I mean, we've known for episodes, I don't know about a long time, but at least a few episodes, that that's what Sansa wanted. She wanted the North to be seceded from Westeros, and I mean, is that really an issue? Really? I don't think so, personally, but that's just me. So, I mean, I felt overall satisfied with this episode. Oh, and And I think a lot of us are under the impression that when Drogon picked up Dany's body and flew away, I mean, I think we could all safely say that they're probably going to Valyria, which is the Targaryens' like home base. I mean, was this as amazing of an episode as I expected it to be? Probably not, but honestly, like I thought at least a few people were gonna die. Really, only one main character died, which was Daenerys. So that was kind of surprising. I mean, I'm happy that most of the Starks are alive. That's pretty cool. Oh, we see Brienne also writing Jaime's end of his story in a book, which was really nice, and I like that about it. Oh my god, we have this, oh my god, I almost forgot about this. We have this beautiful, awesome, awkward scene with Tyrion. He's, you know, at this meeting table. I don't know what they call that. And he sits down in the chair, he gets up, he moves all the chairs, and he like pushes them in, you know? And it's so funny, and then like he hears people coming in, and then he gets into his chair and he's like, you know, getting ready, like, I'm here, I'm the hand, talk to me. And it was so funny. And then Brienne and Bran and Braun. Oh my god, there's a lot of B names actually. And Davos, I want to say, and maybe another person, and then Podrick, of course, and they're all talking about, like, you know, what's next and blah blah blah. And of course Braun brings up a brothel and how money should go to that, and then Brienne's like, I think ships should be our main priority. And it's just really, really funny. And Sam is there too, I forgot about Sam. And Sam is there, and you know, he shows Tyrion the song of Fire and Ice, and he says that he's in charge of he did the name and stuff, and that's really cool. And I'm just really glad that, like, I mean, I was really hoping it wouldn't be like Gilmore Girls, where, you know, with Gilmore Girls, Jess gave Rory the idea to write Gilmore Girls, like the story of her and her mom. And I'm like, at the end of the show, I should say, and I was just like, come on, like I don't want to see this happen again. Like I didn't. So I guess it kind of did happen, but whatever. So yeah, that was really funny. And I actually don't, and my brother made a good point that I don't think Bran would be a horrible leader, because he does kind of lack emotion, which is, I mean, some people might think that's not a good thing, because you know, he could go crazy like Dany or whoever. But I mean, I don't think he'd be that bad of a leader, actually, if I think about it. Like, he doesn't have a lot of emotions, so I mean, we don't have to worry about him taking, like, we don't have to worry about his emotions getting the best of him, is what I'm trying to say. And he doesn't know a lot about the world and people, and I mean, I just was so shocked that they made Bran the king of Westeros. Like, that would have been like the last thing. But at least Tyrion's alive. I'm so happy that Tyrion's alive. I'm so happy that Arya's alive. I was really hoping that Arya would go with Gendry, and I mean, not become the lady of wherever the fuck lord he is, but I was kind of hoping that she would go with Gendry. But at the same time, I'm like, but the fact that Tyrion is alive and that he's the hand of the king again is awesome. And I'm just not. And then the last shot we see is Jon with all the wildlings walking out of the wall. That sounded weird. Walking out of the wall, going into the forest or the woods or whatever. And I really was confused by that. I didn't know what was going on. I really did not know. I was just like, okay, they're going somewhere. I don't know where. And my brother told me that he thinks that Jon set them free, and that he's going to just live with them, and that he's not going to go back to the wall. And I think some people think that he will go back to the wall, and some people think he won't go back to the wall. I mean, I do actually think that all the Jon stuff makes sense. And it would have been, honestly, it is kind of ironic and kind of unfortunate that Dany didn't even sit in the throne, and that's like her whole quest and her whole mission in life was to get on that throne, and the throne is what killed her in the end. So I mean, it's poetic, but it's also ironic, and it's kind of sad. But I mean, I'm really not mad about this show. I mean, the finale. But yeah, I enjoyed it overall. My brother was a little bit more disappointed than I was, which I was very surprised by, because I mean, usually when it comes to these kind of things, I'm always more disappointed than he is, but it was the other way around. So, oh my god, my head hurts. Oh god, being sick sucks. Ugh. Okay, but yeah, so basically those are my thoughts and reactions to this episode. I feel overall pretty content overall anyways. Let me know what you guys thought of this episode. What did you think about Danny dying? What did you think about John leaving, going back to the north? What did you think about Bran becoming king of Westeros? What did you think about Sansa becoming queen of the north? What did you think about Arya leaving? Let me know down below. Thanks for watching. Love you.